So I started off back at square one with desensitisation with the rope. Just checking that she is listening to me and is happy to stand. Both away from the float and closer to the float. I'm 5'8", so she's quite a tall horse. Started off with working her away from the float, taking up the pressure as she approaches the float until she stops. And then just spend some time turned the other way, a little bit of rushing to start with, a bit more pressure, away, pressure off, and continued that. It's quite a bit cut out here until she would stop and stand at a place of rest near the float. Lots of rubbing until finally we get a big sigh, head lowering and standing. Okay, then we loaded after about an hour. We had loaded several times but still tending to rush off the float. So changed camera angle so we can see what we're doing, go away from the float, and if there's reluctance or if she tossed her head up as she came back towards the back of the float, then away and again working, going away from the float and letting her then relax, coming towards the float. Again, there's quite a bit cut out there in between shots. So walking on here reasonably comfortably, but still kind of not really totally relaxing while she's on the float. Very forward moving there. Halfway on, spending some time trying to make sure that she is not rushing on or rushing off. Again, cutting, spending lots of time rubbing, and then also cutting heaps out here while we spend 5 minutes stopped waiting. Still a bit of rush coming off at this point, so out, some more working, keeping her moving, making out, going away from the float, a place of work, and coming back to the float, a place of stop and rest. Checking that she's coming all the way on. Most of the way out, and then just as she got to the last of the tailboard there, just a bit of a head toss. So working on getting her to come forward again so that the head toss doesn't mean that she goes back and stays back. So here she's really keen to want to go on. and actually almost dragging me over to the float. So just checking that she's happy to stand there, and also repositioning myself so that I'm towards the centre of the float. And she's quite happy to stand there. Lots more rubbing. All the way on. And then doing a partial off. Partial back on. Again, giving her plenty of time to have a look at things and really appreciate the rest spots that's on the float. Again, lots of time chopped out of the video here, so that we ended up with just the highlights from each stage. All up the process today took around about an hour and a half, I think it was, from start to finish. But here she's coming on a step at a time. Off a bit too quick again, so we went back and worked again outside. Until she was ready to take me back on. Quite amazing how crooked they can come up to that gate and straighten themselves up when they actually want to get on. So by now she's actually coming out to where she's got her head back to where she was tossing it, and then coming back onto the float. Then back a step. Not all the way out. Then back on again, and one step at a time in either direction. And keeping the head down as she comes off. So all in all, really pleased with that.